The general pattern with Apple is that in odd-numbered years, you get relatively small improvements, and even-numbered years, you get big jumps. So what we're looking for today is there will, of course, be a new phone. And as you mentioned, the phone drives 2/3 of Apple's revenue. That's a huge deal. We'll see how much they've improved it. It probably isn't going to be anything dramatic, anything that will shake your shoes. You know, there'll be small improvements in battery life, processor speed. The camera sounds very exciting. And there'll be something called Force Touch, which is like what you have on the watch, where you can press the screen and have the phone interact with you based on the amount of, on the pressure you give it. That's one big product. There'll be an Apple TV launch. There may be a giant iPad launch, and then there'll be some small software announcements and some small announcements about the Apple Watch, which is, of course, their newest product.
Exactly, which I have, which I love, and everybody else says they're not sure why they need it, but we'll continue to debate about that. Another thing that I know you're looking for, I saw this as well with a lot of interest, we haven't had a lot of time to talk about it, is this ad blocking that Apple may be doing. Why is that significant?
Well, so what Apple is doing is they're going to allow you to block ads on your phone, and that could have a very negative effect on websites and companies that depend on ads for revenue. So the reason to do it, Apple's case would be, hey, it's a better user experience. If the users want to block ads, they should be able to block ads, and we're going to facilitate that. The argument against it is, hey, these companies depend on advertising. If you do this, they won't be able to survive on your phone. The secret thing that's going on is, of course, that Apple wants to push people away from ad dependence, where you give your money to other companies, into more app dependence, where you give your money to Apple, right? So a company that has a website where it's ad supported isn't making Apple as much money as a company that has an app where they get data and they get a percentage of the cut. So Apple is doing something very interesting. We'll see how well it works.
Yeah, that could be a huge game changer, though. That has huge implications for many different companies, so certainly worth flagging. And thank you for that, Nick. Nick, I want you to stand by for 1 second. I do want to check on Yahoo shares and see how they're performing right now. They're up slightly at around $31. That's sort of interesting. Yahoo, there's been a lot of news out in the last 24 hours that maybe this big Alibaba spinoff that everybody was excited about may be having some major problems.
Well, that's the question about Yahoo's stock, right? I mean, Yahoo is such a funny company in that it's basically, for the last few years, all of its performance has been entirely dependent upon Alibaba. It's one of the, the most asynchronous things in the stock market is this Yahoo, this company we're all familiar with, we all use. It's such a prominent part of the American internet, and yet the entire financial performance is based on Alibaba. So yeah, we're seeing it react almost precisely to that.